Early Irish society was hierarchical in that there were clearly defined distinctions between the classes. The laws also sometimes defined degrees of status within individual classes. The country was divided into a number of kingdoms, perhaps as many as 100, differing in size and importance. Each kingdom was occupied by a tuath, tribe or people, at the head of which was the ri, or king, who, if he were king of a small tribe, might be bound by personal allegiance to a ri rurik, an over-king. Succession appears to have been agnatic, that is, the king was chosen from among the male descendants of a common great-grandfather. Below the king, society was divided into three principal classes, similar to the druides, equites, and plebs of Caesar's Gaul. There was the warrior aristocracy, landowners and patrons of the arts, corresponding to the equites. Of comparable social status were what we might term the intelligentsia, the aish dana, who in pre-Christian times and later included not only the druids, but also bards, jurists, physicians, historians, artists, and skilled craftsmen. The third class, the equivalent of the plebs, comprised the body of freemen, commoners, minor craftsmen, and small farmers who formed the basis of society. In addition, there were slaves, but not surprisingly, little is known of their position in society. The obligations and rights of each freeman within a tuath were defined clearly and enforced by customary law, although there was nothing even approaching a police force to enforce the law. The power of custom appears to have been adequate. In pre-Christian times, an important factor may have been the threat wielded by the Druids of the virtual outlawing of a transgressor by denying him participation in ritual observances. In general, it appears that parties to legal disputes agreed in advance to accept the ruling of professional jurists, the brithev. The surviving legal codes show clearly that most causes of dispute, from murder downwards, were provided with means of redress not by imprisonment, but by some form of honor price, log iniec. An additional stabilizing force was the practice of suretyship, by which a guarantor, often of a higher status than that of the offender, was responsible for the actions of the offender. But most important was the fact that the individual counted for little in law. It was the kinship group which was ultimately responsible for the actions of its individual members. This was the basis of the stability of ancient Irish society. Beyond the boundaries of his tuath, an individual could not rely on legal protection unless there was some form of reciprocal agreement between different tuatha, as for example when a minor king owed allegiance to an over-king. The uish dana appear to have been exceptional in that the members of this class, whose status had not been determined by birth, seem to have been allowed to move freely around Ireland and, in so doing, contributed to the cultural unity within the country.